One of the first things that you want to do is to set up your buy and sell settings, and that has to do with your fees. So I'm going to show you how to do that here in Axiom Pro. You can click this little button here, this little wheel, and it will say your trading settings, or you can do it from down here where it says preset. So just click it, and we're going to go through all three. So it's preset 1, 2, and 3. And I've made a little chart, and let me explain how the fees work. Essentially, you can decide the amount to trade, but I just put $100 in here for each one just so that we're basing the fees are equal across the board, and you can kind of see what the difference is in the settings. So your buy and your sell slippage, this has to do with how much above or below that you are willing to accept. So a token that's moving fast, and a lot of meme coins move very fast, you have to have slippage set. If you don't, your order will fail and it will just say transaction failed and it won't go through. It's not as critical always on the buy side. Like if your transaction doesn't go through, you can obviously just try again and try to get in. But if you have a stop loss or something like that set, or you're trying to sell and get out of a coin quickly, and it takes like 15 minutes because you're getting this little, countdown wheel saying that it's trying to sell, and after 15 seconds, it says your transaction has failed. Or if you have a stop loss set and the stop loss doesn't go through and you're not at your computer, it doesn't keep trying again. It just doesn't go through. So that could be hugely impactful, whether you were trying to take profit and sell at a certain point, or you were trying to get out of a coin before it goes too low and you lose money. So setting your slippage to 0 is just going to be a recipe for disaster. That's why you always want to have something set. So kind of a midpoint is 10% on the buy side and 15% on the sell side. And essentially this means if you're buying $100 worth, you're willing to accept the price up to $110 or down to $90. So sometimes it goes in your favor, but sometimes it doesn't. The price might be going up. When you clicked buy, it was at 100 and now it's up to 110 or whatever. So, but if you have nothing, or if you have it too low, then your transaction might not go through. So the higher you set your slippage, the faster that the transaction is going to go through, but also you don't want to set it so high that you just take amounts that you're not happy with, right? You might not want to buy into a coin when it's at 30 or 40% higher than what you were expecting, or vice versa, sell 30 to 40% lower. So this is a good starting point, is 10 and 15% on the buy and sell side. And this has a lot to do with MEV as well. You can do more research just about that, in and of itself, but in a nutshell, essentially, if you have MEV enabled, that means that your transaction is being sent directly through to the chain to buy it. If you have MEV turned off, it's being sent out to different chains to see which one has the best option for you, like the lowest slippage, etc. And this happens instantaneously, but there's something called being front-ended or sandwiched. So if you have your slippage, again, set at, say, 10%, and you turn MEV off, that means that your buy is being sent out to, we'll call it 3 different platforms for an easy word, right? To say, who has this that we can, grab it at $100? There are bots that have been designed to look at slippage and say, hey, she's willing to accept it at 110, and they will front end you, meaning they will buy it at 100, and then they will sell it to you at 110. And so when MEV is off, that's what happens. And you could lose on your front end and on the back end. It happens more often on the front end, which is why it's called front running, but it also can happen on the back end as well. So I always just personally recommend always having MEV on for all the time for buy and off for sell, because it's not as critical until you're dealing with like huge amounts of money. Like if you're not willing to, if you're not doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in trades, then it's probably not super important on the sell side right now because it doesn't happen as often. And there is a fee that goes into this. So buy side, yes. Sell side, not as critical. But you can kind of make that own determination yourself. Now, if it's like a dead coin or something and you're just trying to get out of it and you don't really care, it's already, I don't know, it's not moving fast and it's not super critical, then of course you can just take it off and it doesn't really matter. You can always just set your slippage to 0, right? And then if you're not trying to get in and out fast, if it's just something that is like an old coin and you just want to sell whatever you have left. Anyways, So that's what MEV buy and sell means. So here it's asking you, do you want to turn MEV protection on? So on the buy side, you're going to hit yes. And then slippage, we just talked about. Now, priority fee, priority and bribe are similar, but I find in the general consensus in the crypto community is that your bribe fee is more impactful than your priority fee. So your bribe fee, again, goes almost directly to your MEV protection. So I set them, and again, this is on $100. If you're trading, $20, it's obviously going to be much less. But your priority buy, if you have it set at 0.001, that's only like 10 cents on your buy. And then your bribe fee, again, setting it kind of in the middle, is at 75 cents. So this will try, and if my slippage is at 10%, I'm hoping with this particular setting that I'm not getting in every token at $110, or it's not even really the dollars. It's actually more about the market cap. Like if the market cap's 100,000, you're getting in 110,000, but you get the point. So essentially, with that 75 cents, I'm trying not to lose that 10% every single time and have my transaction go through. So I might only, I might even get in at a little bit less at, $97 or, 97%, something like that under where I was projecting. So that's what your priority and bribe fees go to. And so the fees do add up, so you don't want them to be too high, but you don't want to set them too low where you're losing on slippage every single time, and the slippage is going to end up costing you more than the actual fee that you're paying. So then that's your buy, and then sell setting, just same thing. So I have them set, similarly. It's effectively like 10 cents on the priority sell and 75 cents on the bribe sell. And then here, Axiom as a platform, they take 0.9% all the time. So that you don't obviously pay a monthly fee or anything. It's free to join, but this is how they make their money, is this. They aren't making necessarily their money on these fees. These are kind of like third-party fees, but this is what their charge is. So that's going to be that cost. And then pump fund fee. This is a third-party fee again. If a token, let me close this so I can show you. This section right here and this section right here of new pairs and final stretch, these are on usually pump fund. So you can see the pump. These are all pump fund. That means they haven't bonded yet or migrated. Once they're migrated, even though this says pump fund, this is not on pump fund anymore. It's on Radium. Like it's already bonded and it's migrated over. So if you're only buying coins in this category and this third one, you're not going to be charged this pump fund fee. But if you're buying early tokens, then you will be. So then you have to factor that in too. And that's a third party fee. It's 1%. So you may or may not be charged this, just depending on, which coins you're trading. And then the Solana fee or the Radium fee, again, that's the platform that that these coins are launched on. Again, it's like fixed. And I put 0.25. It's not necessarily always 0.25. This is kind of like a nebulous fee that we don't really know exactly how much it is every time. It could be like 0.15. It could be 0.35. It's set actually by Radium, and it has a lot to do with just the volume and different things like that. So it fluctuates, and there's no way to really track this unless you go back and look at your transaction after it's already sold, after you bought the coin, and then see what it's been charged. But I kind of just across the board just assume it's going to be, 0.25. So just so I can kind of factor that in. And then let me go back here to our presets. So I kind of give preset 1. Oh, and then in my sell settings, see I have MEV protection off. So I kind of make this just more of like the mid-range, like kind of a safe, it's not super cheap. I have, some protection in here, not too high on my slippage, but then I kind of go up from there. So this one, preset 2, this is like my cheapest one. So this, I just basically like move everything down. And again, if it's a slow moving token or something, then I'll trade on preset 2 because I don't need to make it a priority. I can lower my bribe fee. My slippage is much lower because it's not moving very fast. After I show you these settings, I'll try and find a couple coins to show you the difference. But in this case, I don't need it to move really fast. I don't need to pay a lot to have it go through. And this aggregate, this is essentially your buy and sell side, right? Like combined. So it's not like 265 to buy and 265 to sell. And then my third preset is my high one. So if it's a coin that's moving super, super fast, you have to set your slippage higher so that it will go through, and you're going to pay a lot more in fees. So let's say you're only trading with $10, $15 a trade. Well, if you're trading with only 10 or $15, yes, these are proportionate because, let's say your trade's $15, like your fee's going to go down, depending on, right? But the difference is that if you buy a bunch of times, let's say you buy and then you buy like $5 more and then you buy $3 more and then you sell everything and then you buy back in, like you're paying fees each and every time. So you effectively could end up coming out where you think you've made money. Like let's say you're up $6. Well, you might have $10 worth of buy and sell fees. And so even though you're up $6, you're actually losing money. So you have to be careful when you're trading with small amounts because the fees will just add up and they, can totally eat you and, diminish your profit. So that's just how the fees are set up. Let me see if I can find like a slow moving token to show you. Let me find one that's maybe old. Okay, so this is not moving very fast. So this one would be one where, let me see if I can move this over a little so I can see here. Okay, yeah. So this is barely moving. There's like hardly any volume. And if for whatever reason you wanted to buy in on this, there's not a ton of you can look at the trades down here. Let me see if I can scroll this up for you. See, the trades are coming in, but they're coming in super slow. So you don't need to pay a lot to get into this. And you can set over here your, settings to, this is just, how much sold do you want to buy, like how much, and then, here are your, presets or whatever. So depending on which one you're working, mostly I select see down here preset one. So now my buy settings. So this one's slow. You could definitely go with your, right, whatever my preset 2 is because that's my like super slow setting. Now let me see if I can find one that's like super fast. Go here to no, it's not even too bad. Okay, so this is moving not super fast, but much faster. So you can see, look at down here, see the age, look at 00000, like these sells and buys are coming in super fast. So you'll and see how they jump like this. You'll have to, yeah, see, like if you were to buy here and it jumps, like now you have slippage. So you have to set it high enough where you're still able to get in. But something like this that's moving a lot faster, then you're going to have to pay a little bit more, like either, this preset 1 or even your high fees to get in on it so that your transaction goes through. So that kind of gives you an idea of just what all those buy and sell presets are. So I recommend getting those set up so that you have them, sort of ready to go. And then there's actually one more. Let me see, I think it's on this page. And here, actually, it's probably under quick buy. Yeah, to be in a token or something. Well, there it is, Snipe settings. So your sniper settings. So when a coin is getting ready to migrate from off the bonding curve and traded on Radium, there's a period of about 20 to 30 seconds sometimes where you can do what's called a snipe, and you can either snipe to buy in or snipe to sell. Like if you're already in the coin and you want to get out, because a lot of times when coins migrate, they'll dip initially, like fast, for seconds. And so sometimes you want to get out if you're already at the top and then buy back in at the dip. Or so you might snipe sell and snipe buy. But in this case, you can set up your, snipe settings. And again, like I set these over here where you're going to have to, set well, this one is just on Axiom, it's just for buy. So you're going to want to set your slippage a little bit higher and your priority fees and bribe fees a little bit higher so that your transaction goes through if you, do snipe settings. So that's what those ones are.